Hello and welcome to Where You're Not Entertained. I'm Daniel,
I'm Rachel.
And I'm James.
and we are going to be talking about Bill and Ted.
Face the music!
Jesus. Between Rachel's weird squeaky intro and you yelling in my ear, I don't know what's going on here.
I'm sorry, I forgot my name for a second. I was so excited about Bill and Ted.
Man, this is the most charming movie of all time.
Charming movie of all time.
I loved every moment of this. It was just so fun.
I'm there. I'm not charming movie of all time.
It's a hyperbole, clearly, but
well,
what in this movie isn't a hyperbole?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'll preface this all with, prior to this weekend, I had never seen Bill and Ted anything.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know anything about the Bill and Ted franchise. Had no idea what it was really. I had no idea of kind of how Wayne's World tied in. But wow. Watched all three of them in a row. And I love Bill and Ted. The first movie was so incredible.
Right?
Especially for the time.
Oh my gosh. It was so funny. The dialogue was so quotable, and they inhabit those characters so well.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. I mean, to think that Keanu Reeves kind of started out there and grew into John Wick.
Right.
That's an evolution. But then, you know, the second one was still really good. Wasn't quite as good as the first, but
Bogus Journey is a lot of people's favorite Bill and Ted movie. There's a lot to love about Bogus Journey. Death is amazing.
Death is awesome. Yes.
Death was fantastic.
He's hilarious. You have sunk my battleship.
Oh, yeah. Their whole board game session.
It's 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
It's 5 out of 7.
And then they sneak into heaven.
Yeah.
Right.
Death's just like, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
It was great. And then this one was amazing, which you don't expect from a 30-year sequel.
Right. Decades later, and you have something that felt appropriate and modern at the same time. Like, Blade Runner is the only other movie I've seen with that kind of time gap between sequels, and they nail it without making it feel like an old movie.
Right.
Yeah, they did amazing in this movie. Especially oh gosh, Bill.
Alex Winter. Alex Winter stole this movie.
He was amazing, but so
good.
Samara Weaving.
Right. Oh, yeah. I loved her. The girls were the best. Yeah. Thea and Kat.
I've seen her in. She's just incredible.
Yeah, she's been good in a lot of things. I've seen her in, I guess, 3 or 4 things relatively recently.
Yeah, she was so good in Guns Akimbo.
Yeah, that's the most recent one we covered.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Ready or Not.
She was really great in that too.
Yeah, she's really good in that. But again, she kind of knocked it out of the park in this role. They all. When you take a character that you haven't played in 30 years, and you're like, all right, so do that again.
Yeah,
it's got to be kind of a daunting task. Where you're like, I understand and I remember doing it, but I've got to remember the same mannerisms. Like, you have to have those mannerisms.
That is one thing. That is the only thing that bothered me about this movie. Is that in spite of the fact that the cult of Keanu means that he can do no wrong, he was the weakest link in this movie for me. And it was only because he had that long, somber John Wick face, like my puppy just died, the entire time. Where in the first one, he had that big goofy grin a lot, and he just didn't have that in this. And maybe that's a result of the 25 years of not writing the best song in the world. and you can put it in that regard. But
Well, so and that's kind of actually what I was thinking. I was thinking that he was, because he felt so beat down by the process of
yeah,
trying to become what they haven't.
and he was the one looking at selling the guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I got from it. That he was just kind of downtrodden about the whole thing, and that's why he wasn't his kind of exuberant, haphazard, dummy self.
Yeah, and future Ted is the one who started drinking.
Right, exactly.
Now, it works in that sense, but I don't know. I thought Alex Winter just was perfect.
He did.
I mean,
great.
he was Ted all grown up, or Bill all grown up. And there was a bigger, yeah, man. Future you's a real dickweed. Yeah, Ted. There was a bigger gap between Bogus Journey and Face the Music.
And that was the same thing I said when I was watching this was, wow, Ted does not smile ever.
Right.
I get that maybe he's a little more downtrodden, but he just had none of the same energy or anything. And Bill still had a lot of the same mannerisms and speech patterns. And yeah,
Now,
Ted was a little more flat.
He's supposed to be the one that's carrying it, though. He's the one that's still excited to do it and try to save the universe. Whereas Ted's just like,
you can
save the universe, man. We've been trying.
Right. You can argue it. It makes sense plot wise, but tonally, that's where I had the issue. That being said, Bridget Lundy Payne, Billy, which was Ted's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She had all of the mannerisms of Keanu Reeves from the first two movies. The way she held her like arms out and the way she like carried her posture and her head cock and the smile that she had. She must have studied that part a ton because she was spot on.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, she did. She did great. And
she was a great offspring.
Like we said earlier, the two of them really knocked this out of the park because even with Thea having the same speech patterns, it was just really good. They were great, and Death was really good too.
I want to see another movie with them as the lead.
Yes.
I mean, I would assume that is kind of what this is, because that's what it felt like to me. Is
Passing
the transition? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was the transition from the old to the new.
Yeah, Billy and Thea's Excellent Adventures.
Mm-hmm. I'd watch it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it felt that way. It wasn't. So the original Bill and Ted, followed Bill and Ted, and that's what you get. You get Bill and Ted, and this was divided, I would think, pretty evenly.
They got to do the Bill and Ted thing where they go through time and collect a whole bunch of important figures to do something important. This time it's saving all of space and time and reality, whereas before it was passing a class.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But more importance this time.
Well, the fate of the universe did rest upon them passing that grade. So.
Well, yeah, because they had to pass that to be able to make the song. Right. The fate of the universe.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That they didn't end up making.
Yeah. That was kind of the thing for me. Yeah.
But they made the kids that made the song. So.
Yeah.
Right. They played the guitars.
Technically, they're handiwork.
Well, some of the guitar, Jimi Hendrix, obviously, you can't forget about him.
And they inspired their children to become such great musical auteurs.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. It was an interesting take on it because in the first two, you kind of think that they are the ones, and they did, which is how you spin into this one because they thought they're going to be the ones to do it.
And maybe that is how they passed the torch. They thought they were the ones writing the song, and then they discovered it's their kids, and they pass it on that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did want to give a quick shout out to the fact that they put Anthony Carrigan in here. I love his work on Barry, the TV show, if you've ever seen that. He is so funny in there. And him as the
The
robot.
robot, yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Caleb McCoy. And the way they play into that's weird. There's a robot in hell.
Yeah,
He was
Oh.
pretty. Yeah, the robot was really funny.
yeah.
He was great. He
Mistakes
is
were
such a
made.
weird dude.
Yeah. There was quite a few lines from him that had me dying laughing.
Hmm. He is very good at the awkward.
Which is so much funnier in a death robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Sorry. No, it's okay. You didn't kill us. About killing your family? What?
Yeah, mistakes were made. Yeah, that was. Yeah, he was a good addition, even though it was a smaller part. He was a good
Mhm.
addition. I do love that they sent a killer robot to laser them to hell.
Right. And the movie's so self-aware that they multiple times go, "Why is there a robot in hell?"
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of fun.
It
I
was.
enjoyed watching this. I don't think it was as good as the first one. I think it's maybe a little better than the second one. Maybe just because of kind of the handoff, the passing of the torch.
Yeah.
I really enjoy William Sadler, who plays Death.
Oh, yes.
I wish Death was in the first one.
Yeah.
He did a great job in the second one, and he wasn't as big of a part in this one, unfortunately. But he still, while he was on screen, you're still going, "Ha, yeah, Death."
Yeah.
Well, and I guess to sort of segue into something James wanted to talk about. Unlike Tenet, this movie requires no thought.
Yeah. And it's a time travel movie that doesn't make your brain hurt.
Right.
Purely for enjoyment.
Yes, that is very true. They did not overcomplicate the time travel thing, which is
I
fun.
did actually set a timer on it though. The time once you start getting the countdown as to how long it is till the song that unites the world is supposed to be made, it's 1-for-1 with the movie.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that works out.
Fun fact.
What made you do that?
I watched it the first time and wasn't sure. Like when they said the time mark, I looked at it and I was like, oh, there's a little bit longer. But I was like, oh, with the credits and everything, maybe that is accurate. So when I watched it the second time through, I went ahead and set the timer just to check.
Aha. Well, fair
Cool
enough.
little fun fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is cool. I can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really just makes me want to go watch the first one again. I just can't believe I'd never seen them before.
And George Carlin was great.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of another thing that you have to consider with the two of us watching this is that we watched the first one, the second one, and then this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we watched them all. It wasn't I haven't seen the first one, and it for me originally it was I hadn't seen the first one in I don't know 15, 20 years.
Right. Honestly, I haven't watched the first one or the second one in probably that long.
Yeah.
I watched them years and years and years ago, but I did not rewatch them for this one. I kind of wanted to see if it felt like what I remember Bill and Ted being.
Yeah, that's fair. But she
And
had
it
no
fit.
experience whatsoever. So
And for me, I'd never seen it and didn't know anything about it. And I didn't want to watch the 30-year reunion because a lot of it is nostalgia based.
Yeah.
While I think you can enjoy this film having never seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, I feel like you miss out on so much.
And their characters might not be as endearing. They just seem to have that kind of almost stoner vibe to them, even though there's never a mention of any kind of drugs.
right. Yeah, it's the more kind of the surfer boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the thing, I guess, back then. was kind of like the surfer dude mentality.
Yeah, even Keanu Reeves' intonations and the way he talks in this, I can see some of that in like Point Break or The Replacements. It's that same kind
Or
of
Fast Time at
flavor.
Ridgemont High.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that they were bright enough to put the pieces together. I mean, they did in the first movie they did go around collecting historical figures, but they at least knew who the historical figures were, even if they couldn't say their names right.
So
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they figured it out.
They're
Yeah.
almost like the Homer Simpson effect. They seem complete idiots, but they manage to do exactly what is necessary to solve the problem every time.
Yeah, exactly.
And that I definitely think you're right. I think they're not as endearing in Face the Music. Maybe without having seen the other two, you don't love the character the same way. And so maybe Ted's kind of morose thing wouldn't come across as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about like a new audience.
Yeah, or maybe better because you wouldn't realize that he was a smiley, goofy guy. I don't know.
I'm curious. Somebody who's never seen either the first two, whether they enjoy the third one standalone.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. I wasn't going to test that with Rachel.
Probably a good call. Thank you.
Yeah, but I am. It does make me wonder what the takeaway would have been, if it would have been more impressive, or if it's just, this is just some kind of dumb movie where people get in a phone booth and travel around.
It's like Doctor Who.
It's like Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody
Now-
gets in a phone box and travels through time and saves the day.
Yeah, exactly.
This is another movie that I want to see the behind the scenes of, because I also want to know how the hell Kid Cudi got involved in this.
Yeah, that's great. I love that Kid Cudi's in this.
Especially his role, where he's kind of the one trying to explain how time travel works to everyone.
Right.
And just where did that come from?
I don't know.
Yeah, whose idea was that?
Probably his.
Was it Kid Cudi? Was he like, I want to be in Bill and Ted?
Right? He just like phones up Keanu or something.
Right.
But yeah, I want to hear that story. I think that would be fascinating.
Yeah, I'm curious. It just makes you wonder. He was like, meh, I just went and tried out.
Yeah.
They were like,
He just auditioned.
we're looking for some musicians to come and play in the
Just
Bill and
came to
Ted
an open
movie. And he
casting.
was like, yeah, here I am. I'm actually a musician. I'm Kid
Yeah.
Cudi. Let me in. No, but yeah, I thought it was awesome that he was in it. I thought it was cool, kind of the again historical figures that they brought in to make the band.
Yeah.
Like,
It's all kind of an inspiration off the inspiration.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I
they
can't
went
remember
way
the flute,
back.
who the flute lady was, or I don't remember what her name was. And
Or the
then
drummer.
and then the drummer. Yeah. But
Yeah, you had Jimi Hendrix, who was inspired by Louis Armstrong, who was inspired by Mozart, who was inspired by Ling Loon,
Ling Loon,
who was inspired by Grom.
Grom. There we go. Okay. Ling Loom and Grom. Yeah. It was an interesting band.
Yeah.
I had heard of all of them except for Ling Loom and Grom. Go figure.
Yeah, at least in America, I have a feeling that most people are going to know who Mozart, Jimi Hendrix, and Louis Armstrong are.
Maybe.
Sure.
Depends on depends on the age, I guess, that you're asking.
He's the
Fair enough. That's
trees
true
of
for
green
anything.
guy.
The trees are green guy.
Yeah.
Okay. See, and I rest my case. And we're talking a 7-year gap here.
All right. Well, was there anything else you guys wanted to cover before we got into favorite scenes?
No?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Then go ahead and start it off. Daniel, what was your favorite scene?
So my favorite scene was actually when they were getting Death back in the band. I already kind of alluded to the fact that I enjoyed the fact that Death was in this. I thought he was great to bring back. But then, how they've got to go in, and he's been exiled to hell for letting 2 people back up,
Yeah.
and they're having
You
like
have a restraining.
litigation. Yeah, they
There's
had
a
like a
restraining
litigation
order.
fight, and
Oh man.
How do you get a restraining order against Death?
right. Well, and then how does Death try to take the name of the band?
Yeah, they tried to steal the name Wild Stallions.
Yeah. Seriously, dude.
Unfair.
Yeah.
But how they had to come together and make amends, and Death is the best bass player of all time.
And I love that it was Thea and Billy that bridged the gap for him.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It did have one of the funniest moments too, when Death shuts the door in their face and Bill just like pushes it straight open. I don't know. There was something about the way he was just like no, and just shoves his Death's door open that was so perfect. I died laughing.
Yeah, it was nice. That was a good moment.
Mm-hmm. Good choice.
Yeah, so that was mine.
What about you, Rachel?
I think I'm gonna have to go with their whole Dave Grohl finding out that they've broken into his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was amazing. They were like, "Oh, future us is so cool, but why are we British?" And then it just keeps building and building, and
Right.
come to find out, oh my God, Dave Grohl's at our front door.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Dave Grohl's house.
What are you doing in my house?
You guys lied to us again.
Yeah, it was. I just enjoyed it. It was very funny, and yeah, there were so many questions through that scene too. Like, why do they have accents now?
Yeah, and they look so weird. They were dressed strange. Wow, I was very much like, this is what they want to be in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they were eccentric enough that you believed it.
Yeah.
You do live in this house, don't you? That's weird.
Fair enough. Yeah, it was a good scene.
Very good.
What about you, James?
Mine's hard. It was hard to pick because there are a lot of scenes that I thought were wonderful, and I almost chose. And the one that I actually decided on, I don't feel like is one of the most important scenes, but it had the line that I paused the movie and rewound because I was laughing so hard. It was actually a Keanu Reeves line. It was when you had Kelly, Rufus's daughter, which Christian Shaw did an incredible job at.
Yep.
Thought she killed it. When she first comes and picks up Bill and Ted and takes them to the future to kind of have the reckoning with the council as to why they haven't created the song yet. They're told that that they're going to write the song at M46, I think is what it is, but in 67 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
When Ted stops them and goes, "No, hold on a second. What?" And just the way that he actually had a question and paused and then delivered that what, I died. I was laughing so hard. I'm pretty sure my neighbors got angry at me.
That was hilarious.
It was such a great delivery, and I feel like that kind of encapsulates the stupid genius that is Bill and Ted in a perfect way. I loved every bit of it. And it also led to, them deciding that they were going to go to the future and steal the song from themselves.
Right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
which isn't really stealing if you're stealing from yourselves, apparently.
Right.
And so, yeah, no, I thought that it was a good scene altogether, but it was that one line in delivery that just stuck with me.
Yeah. It was good.
I'm with you. That I had a hard time picking between the one at the house or their altercation with the killer robot after the
Yeah.
nursing home.
That was a really good one.
That was very funny too.
Yeah.
That was great.
All right. Well, then I think that about wraps it up for Bill and Ted Face the Music. Anything else you guys wanted to cover before we logged off?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed our coverage of it. If you did, please go online and like and subscribe and join us next time on Were You Not Entertained?